Hey everyone, welcome back to Zelda Speedruns. Today we have another Ocarina of Time Randomizer standard tournament race. This is Icola versus Fur in the winner's bracket round 1. Tracking today you have myself and Lady Draco, and on commentary you have Doc Heaps and Melqui, and they will take it from here.
Thanks, Baseball. Heaps is troubleshooting his headset in the background, so he won't be here. But yeah, very excited for this matchup. Icola and Fair. We should have some stats up for you. Showing you that Icola as the number 4 seed and having kind of 152 of the races they've participated in. Definitely the favorite to take this match, but Fair seed 29. Taken 27 of the races, certainly a contender in this match. Really excited to see this.
Well, and I think everyone's pointed this out time and again that when you cut the field from top 64 to top 32, the margin of runners becomes incredibly small. And so the difference between a 3 or 4 seed and a 28, 29 seed, or in their case 4 and 29, may seem like a wide gap. It really isn't that wide. And so I think that there's definitely room here for this being a very close race, if not an upset, while recognizing that, Icola is a very, very strong runner in his own right.
Yeah, absolutely. The number of matchups in round 1 this year that we have all kind of been like, wow, this could easily be, a semis match, a finals match. It certainly shows how close the field is in that top 32.
And I went back and looked. It looks like both of them, I did not see either of them in Season 7, but both of which were in the bracket stage of Season 6. Both of which have done some other more recent side tournaments, such as SGL. So both very strong runners in that sense of kind of more legacy runners. They have been in the community for a long time, racing for a long time, and are very skilled and experienced at this game. So definitely going to see some strong runners, strong plays, good routing. That's kind of what we're looking for in this race today.
Yep. Runners have entered the password. We've got a couple seconds here. We are starting with a Spirit Med, which is great. It is one of our kind of hierarchy of meds, one of those higher up ones. It is Child Spawn, right outside of Temple of Time.
Valley Water Lake. Ooh.
Yes. I guess we're not going there.
We ain't touching anywhere close to there.
No.
So, God, I love seeing those Barrens.
I know, right?
Hate that area.
That's one of the hilarious things, that is kind of the major pitfall of these settings, is that random child spawn. If you start as child, those fixed foolishes kind of feel bad to a lot of people. And Fair didn't even bother reading them before heading out, collecting some money, gonna go start collecting some songs.
I have this rule in my head. It hasn't been proven, but I'm almost certain it's true. That whenever you get early Prelude or early Serenade, your save quit is in market.
True.
And I have no evidence. I have no evidence to support that. But anecdotally, anytime that you get early access to market, your save spawn is in market. Yeah. And anytime that you have no access to market, your save spawn's like Gerudo Valley.
This community tends to run very vibe based, not even just anecdotal, but vibes. And I think that is true.
Yeah, it's a big vibe.
But we also, I think both of these runners are on emulator. I'm seeing their FPS displays. But for a VC player, that Prelude still matters a lot because save quitting is such a time commitment to them. So even though it's not affecting these runners, had either of them been on VC, they might have still been relieved to have that Prelude.
Yeah, Mel and I may do some explaining of things that you may already be familiar with. We're going to explain some things in case you are new here. The difference between playing on Virtual Console and emulator. Virtual Console gets a little bit faster loads, and so screen to screen, or loading screen to loading screen, they save a few frames. It's really not a ton, but it certainly adds up.
It
And
adds
then
up. Yep.
and then on a reset, they have a whole like, please connect your Wii controller to the blah blah blah, and it lasts for like 40 seconds. I swear. Again, that's a vibes number. That is not an actual number.
There are actual numbers out there somewhere. We just don't know them off the top of our heads.
Yeah, but the vibes numbers are you lose like 1 or 2 frames per loading screen, and you lose about 2.5 minutes per reset.
Yep. And yeah, so Lullaby and a Slingshot here in Ranch. Slingshot doesn't give us a whole lot, but it's nice early. You're not thinking about it if one of our medallion dungeons is Deku, for example.
And I really like this play from both runners at this point. Is you don't really have, you want to go to Kokiri Forest, you want to go to Lost Woods, Sacred Forest Meadow. You have terrible access to those locations right now.
Yeah.
But what you do have really good access to is Adult. And so I think this is a really sharp play. You're going to get 1 song for free in Windmill. Most likely these runners will get that 2nd song in Graveyard. And maybe you might get a minuet or a serenade or some other type of movement song that'll help you when you go back for your child too.
Yep. We did get a look at our meds there. Our trackers will get that updated, but Shadow, DC, Jabu Forest, and Water are the dungeons we have to complete today. I think the interesting thing is neither of them did child shooting. They would have had to have backtracked, having gotten the money, or save quit and gone out there. Neither of them opted to do that.
Yeah, and I get it. I mean, I'm expecting this to be a 5, maybe at most 10-minute adult one. God forbid they find like hook, bow, strength, bomb, and then it's like a 40-minute adult one. But I'm assuming this is probably going to be a shorter adult one, which makes for then setting up for a longer adult or child 2. So I can see them skipping that for now.
I want this seed to give them free bombs and hook. And then it's just going to be terrible from there, as it always is.
Mel, why would you say that?
This is a vibes thing, right? You're riding high, early bombs, early hook shot, AD.
Chat, can we fix Mel's vibes? I don't like the vibe she's giving off right now.
It's not my vibes. That's just how it goes.
What? I feel like I saw a race recently that was water double path.
Yes, that was one of the ones yesterday. IGC to Bongo Bongo. Alright. I mean, that's kind of nice. Ganon's being on the table for Medallion Dungeon items this year is kind of the biggest, change. So it's kind of nice when you don't have to decide that you're going there or not.
It just, the seed tells you, hey, you will need to go to Ganon's Castle at some time. Yep. For those of you who are new to this season, Ganon's Castle consists getting across the bridge, or spawning the bridge, consists of 3 different important items. The Shadow Medallion, the Spear Medallion, and the Light Arrows. And so we have 1 piece of the puzzle already in the... Ooh, wait, what was that? Hold on. Oh, is that 30?
Is that Din's and Boomerang? I think it's 30 Boomerang and 40 Dins.
Oh, yeah.
We'll get another... Yep.
40 Dins. Yeah, can we talk about the fact that it goes 10, 20, 40, 30, 50? Because that's bullshit.
Yeah, it outrages me.
Yes, right?
I've mostly
no end. Where's your
for
consistency?
Alright, so it is a skull seed, folks. 30 and 40, 50 was dead. But, I love watching top runners do skull seeds because they will have 40 in, an hour 40. And it's fascinating to watch. Yeah.
Yeah, the goal of these runners is to pick up as many skulls on the way as possible, because every minute they spend out of their way picking up skulls is time that they will be losing.
Yeah.
And it looks like Shadow is probably going to be on the later side, seeing that Ganon...
I was just going to comment on that. We don't have a good feel for that though, do we? Because we started with one of our meds, and water can be pretty item intensive, but it also can be very unintensive item wise.
Yeah, I tend to think of water having 4 main items, which is irons, hook, lullaby.
Yep.
Usually those are the core 4 items. Sometimes you need a bow.
You're like, bow,
Sometimes you need a tunic.
strength.
Sometimes you need Song of Time. Like, it can get worse from there. But I tend to think of like 4 core items. So we've got 1 out of the 4. We still need irons, hook. But to your point, Mel, once we got all of those, Shadow could be wicked early.
Mm-hmm.
If it holds something like, for example, Rudo's letter, then it's going to be an important play to get that 40 as quickly as possible. But that said, looking at our med layout, right? So we have Dodongos, so some form of explosives, even if it's choosing strength or just choose.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a pretty free medallion. We know where Boomerang is. Hook, bow, strength. We need the hook anyway for water.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, all intents and purposes, this isn't a wicked item-heavy seed, because we already know where 2 items are, plus a third is already hinted.
Mm-hmm.
So I think hints are going to be hella strong in this seed, because we have so few items that are required, and with 5 path hints, I think you're going to really want to hunt hints here more than other races.
I would agree. Path hints in particular are kind of extra valued this season because it can tell you more about where to go and not go throughout the seed. And a horse.
Mm-hmm.
Dead horse.
So not really the movement songs you want. Not really the warp songs you're looking for.
Yep. Another kind of vibe of S8 is where are the warp songs?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. So I think that if I was in their shoes, I would definitely be prioritizing path hints.
Mm-hmm.
5 hinted item locations. For really not, 2 items cannot be hinted at all because they're skulls.
Yeah.
And then of the remaining, 2 hooks, irons, letter. We already know that most likely either magic or hovers in Ganon's.
Mm-hmm.
So I just think there's a lot of power in those hints today.
Yep. And these runners, like you said, it was a very quick adult one there. Makes sense. They didn't get anything out of the CAC opener. I'm a little surprised neither of them decided to go river after that. But that definitely would have messed up their time of day for whatever child segment they want here. So makes sense.
Yeah, and you really can't get out of market because your safe spawn is market.
Right.
You need it to be day. Yep.
You can get out of market if you choose to go through Hyrule Castle and do guards. You don't actually have to do them, you just gotta get in the little crawl space.
Mm-hmm.
But it will pop you outside of market, so if you're looking for a way to get out if you've been trapped, that's your ticket out.
I feel like if you're going to the guards, there's some form of desperation that you should there's a lot of things you should be rethinking at that point.
You didn't quite think through your child spawn when you did your adult segment.
And it's just top of night.
And you're like, ooh.
Mm-hmm. One of the disadvantages to Valley Lake being barren, now would be a really good time to hit up that loop. Mm-hmm. Valley Lake, Open Grotto, CAC, or Kokiri. But knowing that you don't need to do Valley, knowing you don't need to do Lake, Open Grotto is a really dumb place to go for one check. You are, in a sense, you're hiking to Kokiri Forest, and it is a long hike. But I don't think they have any other better options. I think you just go to Kokiri Forest.
Yep. Fair is gonna show us this hint. Fortress to Morpha.
Nice.
Okay. Can't get that quite yet, but we can get there.
No, and here's an interesting thought on that, right? So there's a chance that it could be the fortress chest, right? The top fortress chest.
Mm-hmm.
The odds of us getting hovers before water temple is low.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's long shot or some form of, well, it can't be hook shot, but if it's long shot, you want Scarecrow Song for that. Well, how the hell are we going to get Scarecrow?
We're not.
We're like Barren Lake, no serenade.
I'm sorry that my dog has freaked out. We got a lot of snow last night, and so I assume my neighbors are shoveling currently.
And Icola just immediately bounces. He's like, I got my shoes, I'm good.
I got shoes, and they're multiplying.
I was just thinking the same thing. I got shoes, and they're multiplying.
Except shoes don't do that. Wouldn't that be great, though? Devs, they're a setting we can have for full chew bag or something.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so that was the bottom of the fountain. Gotcha.
Yep.
We're able to pick up the skull here. Again, no bottle, so it's just one skull. But the thing about skulls is, especially with 40 to 50 skulls, the more skulls that you justify that you can skip, the more difficult the skulls then become. Like, there are about 30 to 40 quasi-convenient skulls, but there really aren't much more than that. Like, once you start hitting, like, oh, I skipped this one, I skipped this one, I skipped this one, and now you're kind of like, there's like 20 skulls left that I could feasibly get. They're the skulls that nobody wants to get.
Yeah, skulls are going to be a little tricky without that. At least the last ones will all be easy. Obviously, there's going to be 4 in Jabu that you can pick up. Rank comes before Din's. So the last ones will all be quick. Oh, a Kokiri sword.
Mm-hmm. You know, honestly, what I would do here, and this is maybe why I'm not top 32, I think you go beat... No, Deco's a stone. Never mind. You don't beat Deco.
I would do it.
Well, because you can get bugs on your way down.
You can get bugs, you can get skulls in there.
Yep.
It's quick enough, and it is, what, 7 items?
And 2 hints.
2 hints, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's how aggressive. Like, do you do all of Sacred Forest Meadow first, and then I think you do, and then do Deku afterwards? But it's weird. It's weird with that bottle, right? So you just picked up a bottle. You want bugs. I guess you can get bugs in this grotto here.
Oh, yep. It's the 20 pack of chews. I would do all of this.
Yeah, you're getting bugs here. Never mind. Because you just got the Kokiri sword.
Was that adult or child spirit?
Child side.
Great. The goal is to get the 6 medallion plus bow, lights, and magic. But bow and magic will be required on the way, so just lights in addition. And then you go kill Ganon.
Yep. You'll see in this seed the dungeons that we need to complete in order to accomplish that are Dodonga's Cavern, Jabu Jabu's Belly, Forest Temple, Water Temple, and Shadow Temple. So at this point, Fire Temple, Spirit Temple, and Deku Tree. The only things that we could possibly net from that is we could either net an item in those dungeons, or we can net a song that's behind the 3 stone dungeons, because that is when Zelda, escaping on horseback, throws the ocarina, and you normally learn Ocarina of Time because of that cutscene. In this case, it's a random song. So if it ends up being something like our Nocturne, then those dungeons will be required.
Dad was nothing, unfortunately.
Curious to see what strat Icola uses here. Probably the kind of more traditional setup. You go back in where, go back in where. Now, what is this Goron's name?
What Goron?
This one that we're staring at right now that dances.
Darunia?
Yeah, I just call him Dancing Dad.
Kate's has played this game. You know, I was just thinking this last night. Is there a backup setup to this that doesn't use this room?
He should be dropping it at 2 flashes. I think he's oh no, he got it. I was like, he might be dropping it a little bit late.
I was at like 3.5 flashes. I don't do this.
Too.
I can't neutral roll to save my soul, so. I was gonna say, I'd pick up that 20. It's early yet.
Yep. So this is how much I've played Randomizer. I don't think of it as Darunia, which is probably the name that I should be using for that, especially if I'm doing commentary. It's Dancing Dad. It's that's his name.
Did Icola skip Big Rolling Goron Hot Rodder?
No, he got Hot Rodder.
Okay. Oh, started with it? Okay.
Yep, started with it. Yep. So, good use of a stick there. He does have carry sword, so could use that as well. You can get bugs in the grottos, and so could get it there. You can also get it here in Lost Woods, as you saw from Icola. If you really wanted to be adventurous, you can get bugs in the Goron City maze as child. So after you do the maze, there's the 2 chests and the Gossip Stone. The box has a skull and the rock has bugs. So it's always good to know where your bug supplies are. Bugs are... Oh, sorry.
Nope, just we found a strength.
All right, so that's one of the pieces that we need. But it's always good to know where your bugs are. You never know when you are in a random location and you're like, okay, I need to find bugs. Where the hell is my nearest source of bugs?
Mm-hmm.
Especially when you're in the lake and you're just like, God, where are my bugs?
Kokiri Forest is easily the worst one to try and find bugs around. Pretty much everything else, there's bugs nearish by.
Mm-hmm.
That strength is super out of logic. You are correct. We don't have any form of explosive.
Nope. Which is why I agree with everyone that you are just going to be pushing. You're going to be pushing Deku Tree at this point.
Okay. Ice Cavern to Evil's Bane, so we will not be getting a Baronade specific hint today, probably.
Nope. Can you explain why, Mel?
So the Shadow Spirit and Light Arrows are what we call the bridge condition, and that takes priority over the boss key condition, which is the other dungeons, the other medallion dungeons, which includes Jabu today. We have Boomerang on an always hint, which is 30 skulls, and for Ice Cavern to be on Path of Evil's Bane, which is the Light Arrows, Rudo's Letter will be required for that. So there's no hintable Jabu item.
Mm-mm. And I think this is one of the reasons why I really like Season 8, is you get these cool logical quirks like that of like, okay, so Letter has to show up before Lights.
Burning
And
Cactus.
so that means if you're missing Letter, Ganon's Castle, for example, can't have Rudo's Letter. So you will never find it in there. And in fact, because Shadow Temple is the path to Shadow Temple is hinted in Ganon's Castle, you will not find Letter in Shadow as well. So it really starts to help you knock off locations of where you might be looking for Rudo's Letter.
Yep. Yeah, Nocturne out at Colossus. Haunted Wasteland is dead, which is nice. Lots of bongo hints here.
Mm-hmm.
It has me wondering, we don't have our Skull Mask hint yet. We don't have a frogs hint yet.
Well, the
but
hard thing about... Oh, go for it.
I'm just getting a little concerned about where
Oh,
are
there's
the
Mask.
other Morpha hints.
Well, because yeah, right. Well, because the thing about Shadow is that a lot of the items that we need to complete other dungeons are needed for Shadow.
Yeah.
Bags needed for Shadow. Hook shots needed for Shadow. Strings needed for Shadow. Bow's not technically needed for Shadow because we're gonna have long shot by that point. But there's a lot of overlap in these items.
Mm-hmm.
I think Icola just skipped the hints behind Deku Tree. If I saw that correctly.
Yes.
Which, again, it will save you time.
Mm-hmm.
Guaranteed. Unless that hint is the one thing that you need, and then you are absolutely losing time.
Right.
Like when it's the, oh yeah, this random check that you never would have thought of has Din's Fire, and you're like, well, fuck me.
Yeah. Getting them afterwards, I mean, it's an option, of course, especially since I'm guessing they'll go back adult and get through DC, especially since that will give them a song.
Mm-hmm.
But it's so much time to go back. That's why people usually do it before, because you're actually dropped out towards where Mido is in Kokiri Forest, not just in front of the Deku Tree.
Yeah, I still remember Lakeside Hint, the lab dive area, had Darunia, I guess, Dancing Dad, was my Din's Fire. And of course I orphaned Child Goron City. And of course, like, everyone else just rushed Dancing Dad because it was directly hinted and it was the one hint that I skipped. And so, like, skipping hints saves you time until it is what you are looking for, and then it no longer saves you any time. Shock to no one, this Deku is stacked. Holy
right.
Jeez.
It's the way it goes.
Oof. Have we found... We had a claim check, correct?
Hint for it? Yes.
Yeah. Okay,
It
cool.
was nothing. The bow is nice. Frog. You don't need it, but it's a nice fast way to ice, since they have a bottle.
But, like, you need... Don't you need Serenade?
Serenade would... Yeah.
Yeah.
You would need Serenade to make it worth.
Because you have to turn in the frog and then warp.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shows you the last time that I did frog warp. I was like, crap, what are the steps again?
Virgil making a good point. We can go do horseback archery now. That's 2/3 of the fortress checks. I imagine that they will do Dodongos first and pick up that song.
Yep, with choosing strength, I think that's a very wise plan. Do the thing that you know is required. I mean, the path hints are also required, but you've got to do your medallion dungeons.
Alright. Scrubs giving Fair a little bit of attitude. Yeah, hookshot being somewhere available is what I am thinking here.
The one thing that is rough about DC is it is ass to get to right now.
Yeah.
Because you'd really want to do DC after, getting your song from Minuet or Bolero or Nocturne, or, like, God, any warp song. The alternative is you go ice. River to ice.
I think for me, I would do DC first, it's not going to get any better or worse to get to. Eventually we'll get Nocturne, but we think that that might be out at Colossus anyway, with a Colossus hint to Bongo. So with that in mind, I would do that first, see if that's Requiem, see if I get anything on the way. I might put off Ice until a little later, but not too much later.
Yeah.
But I would rather have a hook going into Ice so I can get the skulls on the way.
Yeah. Yeah, I was about to say the one nice thing about Ice is we know that it's hinted, so you gotta do it. Could get you a song. Icola did make up a lot of time and execution, and I'm certainly, to his credit there, he also did skip all of the Deku hints, which Fair did, and so made up some time there that Fair lost.
Yeah.
Or I guess not lost, but spent. I should use that. That's probably a better word.
Yep. And going CAC by the looks of it. So completing most of the dungeons drops you out at midday, so if he's planning... This must be bottom of the well.
I think this is well. Chickens to well.
Yep.
Yep. Which I understand from a check density perspective. I just think that you have better things to do in this moment. I think that you've got fortresses we've talked about, which could be a hook shot. I think you've got EC, which is a required dungeon. I mean, you've even got Ice that's been hinted if you really want to just, like, parade out to Ice.
Right.
Whereas Well has not been hinted, and so there's no guarantee that Well is actually going to be a required dungeon.
Yeah. I mean, I think we're all sort of thinking a hook shot is near. But going kind of out of your way, it's not like Well is getting any easier to get to either, so I understand this decision.
Yeah, I think horseback archery is probably my bet for where that hook is going to be.
Fair. Doing Goron Pot with strength, I think he got it.
I think he got it. Timing looks good.
Cola doesn't have the fortress path. That would definitely change things.
Thank you. Yep.
Because that was Hyrule Castle 1.
That's helpful. Yep. That, you're right. That changes my mindset then of why Icola is not going to Fortress. You are correct.
Yep, it does look like Fair's gonna do the Goron maze here. It is another skull. It's another hint. Oh, don't die.
I'm more worried about his health than his shoes, actually. Holy
big chest.
Jesus.
Okay.
Okay, well.
Another stone dungeon item. And
Now, what do you think is in...
there.
No, get the skull! Okay.
Don't die to the skull, more importantly. Okay.
What was I going to say? What do you think is in Ganon's? Do you think it's magic? Do you think it's hovers? Do you think it's some other item entirely?
Oh, that's tough. I'm guessing probably... Oh god, I have no idea. What else can it be?
Well, because Ferora's is...
My thinking is that perhaps something is strength 3 locked with all of these. I mean, we only have 2 bongo hints, but that's a lot, it feels like. Colossus probably has our Nocturne, but there is no reason that it can't be all dungeons.
It's funny because chat's popping off about the bomb bag, and I'm like, they have 30 chews. They're fine. What do they need a bomb bag for?
We care about logic here.
Let's just choose with extra steps.
Fair gonna show off yet another strength trick.
Nope, restart.
no.
Yep,
Yep.
yep.
So you can get this wall with this bomb flower, but it is very tight. That looks better though.
Yep. Nice work. And saves the 2.
Magic.
Okay, now Fair should absolutely book it to Fortress.
Yep.
1000%.
With Furor's Wind and it's usable.
Yes. Oh my god. The dream.
So, probably hovers.
So, answers our question. And Fair actually timing this out really nicely.
Mm-hmm.
Is it chickens time?
It's day. Yep.
Yep, this is chickens. I was about to say, timing it really nicely for skulls. Probably will bounce out and change time of day to night and then grab this 5 skulls. I would guess.
I would expect that to be the play here. One of the nice things is, and there is our hook shot.
Oh. Well. Never mind. I would have lost the seed by not going to well.
Yeah. And that's exactly... Oh, okay. Icola, gonna show off this trick here. You let the like eat you and yeet you into that skull.
Go and be like, I want my shield back. Great question proposed in chat. Where do you go next? I think you do. Oh, go for it.
I mean, now being able to do forest, I would loop that in. I would not be too surprised at all. Icola probably does like Bombchu bowling here, maybe. Maybe Fairy Fountain will get that fortress hint on the way.
Mm-hmm.
But I think you probably do Dodongos, head up the mountain to kind of clean that area up as adult. You're gonna get your crater song. You're gonna go into forest and do that because then that's 2 dungeons you have done. If you're fortunate enough to get a, scale or irons on the way, loop that into a river into ice, but that's getting ahead of ourselves, obviously.
Yeah, I was real curious to see what that chest was because I recognized that Icola had skipped that one.
Yeah, yep.
Nothing that we really need. These runners can very easily handle this seed with 5 hearts.
Yeah.
And Icola going to be getting his hint here, Fortress. And so, again, the only thing in Fortress that can really... All that tells me is that it's almost certainly hovers in Shadow Temple. Or in Gen's Castle.
Why is it saying AD? Seed is giving us a lot of AD items. That doesn't necessarily mean that the song is important, but that the dungeons themselves probably have things.
Yeah, definitely very early getting a lot of stone dungeon items.
Yep. What is AD? As chat is letting you know, AD means all dungeons, so we would have to do everything. We already are required to do the medallion dungeons. All dungeons means we would also be doing Fire Spirit. They've already done Deku, the 3 stones. typically it's for the song that would give you. In this case, we don't know what that song is yet.
Oh, come on. Is this a river play? Oh, oh, come on, baby. Sorry, I'm just really excited for this to possibly be a river ice play.
It could be.
Hook with bottle? Oh.
I mean, you're expecting to have to go to ice anyway.
I think this is where the seed gets fun, not from a logic perspective, but from a routing perspective.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be a really fun routing seed because the world is open at this point. They can go to Fortress, they can go to Ice, they can go to Forest, they can go to DC. And you know that you need to go do all those locations. So how you route all that together efficiently while still also doing additional checks, I think it's going to be the real tell of who comes out on top on this seed.
Yep, absolutely. At least a little bit of field here. But yes, Icola does have 10 skulls. It can get that hammer. Needs to remember to do that. Big post dead.
Great timing on the big pose hint. Because you are right there.
And it is going to be River from the
River.
look of that angle.
Can't tell if it's river or forest. River. Did a little...
Yep. River makes a lot of sense. Going river into ice, it could be Requiem in there, and then you don't... Like, you're covering your bases on where can Requiem be.
Well, and you're looking for 3 songs that could help you a lot after ice, right? So Requiem is a great song. Bolero, really good song. Minuet, really good song. So 3 songs that Icola could pull out of ice are really helpful to him right now.
Yep. And there's another waiting after DC completion. Is that a wallet?
I couldn't tell if it was a wallet or another bomb bag. I think it's a wallet. It looked too light for a bomb bag.
Yeah, the color looked lighter. Oh, I think he's gonna miss the skull.
I think he's got the skull. Okay. Oh, good work. But we'll be missing out on 2 more skulls. There's a skull in Upper River. There's a skull in Zora's domain.
Yeah, that's...
That Spirit Trial?
It's Child Spirit.
Child Spirit.
Yeah. But I think someone said we had a trial hint.
Oh, that was the trial. Okay.
Okay.
I am not crazy. Well, not crazy in that moment about
not
that thing.
Child side. Okay.
Thanks, chat. We love you.
Kokiri Forest to Bongo.
The fuck did we find in Kokiri Forest?
We found Kokiri Sword.
Nope, no.
Oh, no. It was bow.
Bow?
Lens.
Lens?
Lens. Yep. Lens and shoes.
What the hell is Requiem?
I mean... Yeah.
I mean, I don't doubt you, chat. I just doubt you.
Lens for treasure game? Could be, could be.
Could be.
Skull Mask repeat. Yep, treasure chest game and crossing the wasteland are the only 2 things Lens is required for in these settings. I did joke when we were developing these that we should turn Lens off. So, like, you are required for it to find it for Shadow Temple.
I think chat has a good point. If Lens is for crossing, and Colossus is for Shadow, it might be AD.
It might be AD. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. Yep.
Yep.
Yep. And if you had mentioned that, then I wasn't listening. I'm so sorry.
I did not, but
Okay.
yeah, I'm agreeing.
Yep. Yep.
Without that,
I was like, I didn't know if that was the yip of I agree or the yip of like, yeah, now you're mansplaining. Okay.
Stop mansplaining to me, Heaps.
Stop explaining the things that I already said, Heaps. I would never do that.
Frogs 1 is dead to us. Yeah, get your guesses in. It looks like Fair's gonna be doing this. I'm gonna go... Oh. I mean, I'm all about buying choose.
I'm right, left.
Okay,
Yeah, somebody already said that.
I'll go left, right then.
I'm gonna go for the... No, you know what?
Oh,
We're going in on it together. We're going in on it together. All rights and a left.
Okay. Oh.
Who's my gamble buddy? I know I saw it up there. Ventinor. Now we're out.
Any right, lefters? Anyone in? Fairy Beth might be.
Right, left. We have one.
Oh.
Lucid X Dream R is still in.
Okay.
Oh, they got it 5 for 5.
Let's go.
Baby, Lucid X Dreamer. Hell yeah.
Congrats. Always fun. And it's just a heart piece. So...
And it's Wasteland.
It's crossing.
It's crossing.
Yay.
This is AD.
This is AD, folks.
Yep. Because
But
Requiem.
why? Maybe we're lucky and it's not really AD.
Requiem could be an ice. In a really sick, fucked up world. No, could it? Hold on,
Maybe
my brain hurts.
Maybe Requiem is the friends we made along.
No, because ice is path to light arrows.
Mm-hmm.
So that means that... Hold on. Ice is path to lights. Shadow is in Ganon's. Which means ice has to show up before shadow. So Ruto's letter has to show up before shadow. So Ruto's letter cannot be in shadow.
Right.
So Requiem can't be in... No, wait.
Requiem... Here's the tricky thing.
Because if Requiem was an ice, then you wouldn't need to cross for shadow.
Just means letter is there. Just means letter is behind crossing. Not necessarily that it's all dungeons. You know?
Nope.
So, just because, say, letter is behind crossing, it just means that it's not behind, say, Nocturne.
Wait. Because, hold on. Because Lens is on path to Bongo, right?
Yeah.
But Ice is path to Lights.
Oh, okay. You're right, then. Yep.
Which means that we need to have lights before we cross the wasteland.
Yes.
Okay. Or that lights is available before crossing the wasteland, I should say.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
We are seeing Hyrule Castle 3.
Hell yeah.
We can't get this skull, unfortunately.
Can't even get the skull.
It is rang locked, but we can get the hint.
Look at all those bugs.
Copy of Kokiri Forest.
Which is the first time Fair has seen that. Oh, I didn't realize that Icola didn't have a shield.
Yeah.
To Icola's point, this jump sucks.
Yes. Okay, where does Fair go? Hookshot, bow, bombs.
This looks probably like a DC... Yep, this is more of a DC Force play.
Yep. Which I think makes sense.
Yep. Ooh. Apologies. Belly's saying, "Feed me."
We can't hear that.
Oh, thank God. Because it was making the rumblies, and I was like, "Oh no!"
Tell me what's making the rumblies.
Only
That only
hands can
satisfy.
satisfy. Oh no, we are old.
We are old. Hey, strength.
Hey, strength 2.
Stuns.
Now, really interesting implications with that strength 2, right? So if it's, I'm assuming Sun Grave is not lights. We're gonna pretend that one check doesn't exist. I could be wrong. I have been proven wrong before. But that means that you need to use the strength 2 before crossing the wasteland.
Still. No. Frogs. Hint.
What about frogs? What's wrong with frogs too?
Suns? Frogs, anyone? Frogs?
I thought we got a frogs 2 hint.
Oh, dang it.
I was like, Mel, it's Baron.
Damn.
Yeah. So we have to use strength 2 before crossing the wasteland. So that strength 2, so spirit does not have light arrows. Have to be GGG.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. This is why I like this seed. This is a high routing, high logic seed. And I'm here for it. I was like, what is this? It's double defense. We've already seen this. My brain was like, ooh, new check.
Shiny.
Ooh, shiny? Me?
And Icola not turning in 10. Quite yet.
I don't know how I got this far into being a doctor with how distractible I am by shiny things. Truly is a problem.
Hearts are shiny.
Shiny.
Sure.
Curious to see when Icola comes back to do Sun Grave.
Yep.
We have no evidence to support that Sun Grave is just not the correct answer. And so at some point, and especially with Sun Grave being one check, it's easier to do the one check and be like, cool, it is absolutely strength 2, than to always have that be on the back of your mind of, well, what if it was just Sun Grave? And I have been chasing strength 2 when in reality it was just Sun Grave.
Right. And I mean, there's a few options. I don't think we had a Composer Grave Torches hint. Maybe you want to loop that in with Dombe Digging and Sun's Grave, you know?
I hate that so much. I hate that.
Okay, so the boss key is not quite vanilla, but shifted a little in the boss key loop in Fire.
I don't know if you saw that AD, the All Dungeons hint.
Oh.
Requiem.
Okay, okay.
That was not at all the song I was expecting. Okay.
I feel better about that.
Yeah.
We have some answers.
We have some answers. And if you're fair, you're crossing the wasteland.
Fair does not... Okay. Fair does not have Scarecrow set, correct?
Does not. Neither one of them have gotten even close to Child Lake.
So Fair is really banking. I mean, it's 2/3 chance HBA is the path.
Yep.
But really hoping that it's not Rooftop. But, I mean, at least, FW Magic.
I think FW Magic makes this a totally excellent play.
but having that in spirit is so much more valuable.
Yeah. Because Fair at this point is crossing Wasteland. You are crossing Wasteland. 100%.
Yep.
Because Furor's Wind was Maze? Corn City Maze? Magic was Death Mountain Trail? If I remember correctly. They were pretty close.
Right? Yeah, that sounds right.
Because now that you know that Desert Colossus is on the path to Bongo Bongo, and you know that OOT is Requiem, you are never going to be closer to Bolero than you are right now, or to Nocturne than you are right now.
Yeah.
So either you set Furores in here and you bail, or you just continue on across. But like, you are definitely putting a bookmark here, at least, because you have to cross.
Yep.
There's no other way around crossing. You have to cross.
Almost beat the carpenter out.
It's always fun.
Oh no. The chew.
Yeah, it's a nice little strat. It's not the hardest, but it certainly is not the easiest strat. And it is the fastest way to be able to blow up those areas. Sans Hammer. Hammer's just real quick, but like, apart from Hammer, it's sorting on choose, and then like Deku Nuts and choose backflip choose kind of area, and then shooting a bomb with bow, and then bomb, and then strength bomb, where you're just like, let me die. I don't know why the timer for using strength on a bomb flower is like 18 seconds. I don't know who coded that, but can we like... No, you can't change the timer now because so many tricks rely on the long timer.
Oh, yeah. No.
People would riot.
No.
Reads. They would riot if we changed that timer.
Irons. Wow. That is a path to Morpha. For certain. Golds.
What?
Gold gauntlets.
Yeah, but follow-up question. What?
What?
What? Because lights can't be in Ganons.
Lights cannot be in Ganons. OGC is potential.
I think that's the only potential. Because the other two strengths were totally available.
Well, I mean, the strength in ice is not available.
No, that is the most inaccessible strength, but the other two are wicked free.
Yes.
So, for that to be path strength, that would have to be strength 3, wouldn't it?
Yes.
And since lights can't be in Ganons, yeah, it's OGC.
Yep.
Okay, well, never mind. Rush OGC.
I would definitely do Sun's Grave. And Sun's Song is not required logically for Shoot the Sun. Because you can just stand there and wait, unfortunately.
Great.
So we'll see what Icola chooses to do here. I would expect a 10 turn in and a Sun's Grave check, given what we've seen, but...
I'm not mad about this prelude from Fair. No reason to cross the wasteland right now. It does block your Furor's Wind from other uses, and so that sucks. But he doesn't need Bolero or he doesn't need Nocturne right now. He's not going to use Nocturne right now.
Right.
Yeah. I don't disagree with this play.
Yep.
Some quick checks, get on out of there. Push your progression.
Serenade in the crater.
Fair's showing us some good skulls here. I actually really like this skull, and I think that not enough people grab this skull. It is really convenient on your way to CAC. Like, that is a stupidly convenient skull. Maybe you go 5 seconds out of your way, plus the skull acquisition.
Yeah.
I think when you've got a 40 or 50 skull seed, you should be looking at that skull.
Is that treasure chest game hinted?
Was it? That sucks. I mean, the seed is screaming from the hints, like, cross the wasteland. Like, it's telling you the right answer.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, you should get Nocturne from Wasteland. Oh, by the way, you're going to need Lens for Wasteland. Oh, by the way, it's AD for Requiem, because you have to cross the Wasteland. The game, I got it. I'm crossing the Wasteland.
But did you get it? Do you
I don't think so.
understand? We need to cross Wasteland.
I think I need one more hint just to really solidify it.
King Zora is nothing.
The one advantage to Icola's route is Sunsong is going to make Skulls just that much more convenient for routing.
Yep.
Again, 40 Skulls is not easy. It certainly could be worse, could be 50. But when every skull that you skip is one more out of the way that you're probably going to have to pick up. Chat, what's the, and also Mel, what's the worst skull that you've ever picked up in a skull seed?
Worst skull that I picked up in a skull seed. Probably the Valley Soil Patch one.
Mm-hmm. Was it S5? I think it was S5 brackets. I picked up the fountain one. I was already at ice and I was short one. I was short one and I was just like, am I really doing this?
Yeah.
Am I really doing this? And I was like, okay, I'm picking up this skull. Fun fact about that skull, by the way, it is a night skull. So if you try to do that during day, you're SOL. So like, it's a night skull. It doesn't feel like it's a night skull, but it sure as shit is a night skull.
Well, it always seems so dark in Fountain, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, why would this be a night skull? But
I don't know if you've heard this before, Mel. Probably have. It's not super unknown, but the ice cavern areas, Zora's Fountain, will actually change weather conditions based on whether you have or have not beaten Water Temple yet.
You told me that.
Mm-hmm. So
and
Zora's...
I told someone that recently.
Yeah,
they were like, "That's bullshit."
Yeah, so if you haven't beaten Water Temple yet, it's snowing in Zora's Fountain. If you have beaten Water Temple, it's sunny and clear, and it's no longer snowing.
Yep.
Which is great, because who the hell goes to Ice Cavern after beating Water Temple? Like, why did they code that?
Right, why?
What were they thinking?
Because in the, vanilla game, there's no option.
Yeah, you gotta get iron boots. Like, you're going to Ice Cavern.
Yeah. But I suppose it's like, okay, you would be going back to do Trade Quest, right?
Yeah, you'd be going to King Zora.
Yeah.
Maybe if you're going for 100 skulls, you'll go back for the Strength 2 skull, because you won't have Strength 2 by that point.
Yeah.
Yep. Mel, who's our restreamer today?
Our restreamer today is Baseball, the one and
Yo!
only. Baseball is
Baseball?
also tracking.
I was like, are they pulling double duty?
Yes. All weekend. Lady Draco is our other tracker. Thank you both so much.
Hell yeah.
Give our runners a follow, Icola and Fair. Their links are in chat. Is it Restream? Is that or is it French?
Exclamation mark French.
Help me out.
Yep. Marco is restreaming on the French channel, and Randomizer Brazil is restreaming in Portuguese.
Yep.
Oh yeah, Fair is Brazilian, aren't they? Are they Brazilian?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. So really excited. We've actually had really great coverage all weekend. We had
Mhm.
3 ZSR restreams, and each of those, I think, had at least a French restream along with it. There was also a German restream yesterday, so lots of coverage, which is really exciting. Just goes to show how excited people are to watch these matches.
Well, and I would love to see how many countries are represented in S8, because just counting off the top of my head, I mean, I'm getting close to, what, 8 countries that I can think of? 8 or 9?
Yeah,
Maybe not all of
probably.
them. Maybe not all of them top 32, but
Yeah. France, UK, Germany, for
Germany,
sure.
Australia,
Australia, Canada,
Canada,
US,
US,
Brazil,
Brazil. Um,
Costa Rica,
yep,
in
that's the
Challenge Cup.
that's the one that I was thinking of. Was Mr. Martin?
Yep. So yeah, uh, really, really good showing.
Ah,
No, we're not lovely.
well, I mean, we have a fellow doctor, so they're lovely.
Vanilla Minuet.
Yeah, so I don't know. I think it's really cool the fact that the community is as large as it is and as diverse as it is.
Yep.
And how young it is. I mean, we have a lot of runners who were born after this game came out, and that just still boggles my mind and makes me feel really old.
Oh, I know, right?
It just makes me feel so old.
The young whippersnappers.
Right? And we're like, oh yeah, this game came out after I was born, and I'm top 32, and I'm like, well, neener, 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 nee. I'm really mature in my old age, okay?
Super mature.
So mature.
Yeah, I don't think there are a lot of people who are full on younger than this game. I have heard that the average age of the community is somewhere between 32 and 35.
Tracks. I know 2 people for sure who are younger, top 32 runners
Yeah.
who are younger.
Yes. But
So, not to make us all feel old on this. It's not beautiful Sunday afternoon. It's cold. Cold,
yeah,
my
it's
joints hurt. Okay.
like 1 Fahrenheit here.
Yes, I am old. My knees creak in ways that I was not expecting.
Yeah, it's always unsettling. The sounds your joints make as you get older is not something you're prepared for half the time. Like, people tell you all the time, and then you're like, "Pfft," and then it
Yep.
happens, and
And then it happens.
oh,
When they're like, the meme that's like,
no one
your favorite-
prepared me.
your favorite thing to do in the morning is to drink coffee and take ibuprofen.
Yes.
Yep, we're joking around a little bit as Icola is going through Forest Temple. Pretty straightforward path through Forest Temple.
Yep.
So it is a matter of just kind of slogging through and keeping your execution high.
Yep. Fair did complete DC, so has that strength, did pick up Bolero, set nighttime. That was letter.
Okay, well that explains a lot.
Yeah, yeah. So none of the strengths are strength locked.
Nope. Nope, because you could get one of 2 strengths before letter and then 3rd after letter.
But you don't need the strength to get that letter.
No, you don't.
No.
You're right. I just think if force, then strength.
Yeah, nope, that's not the strength part of forest.
I was like, we're walking up on the strength part of forest right now.
Yeah.
But my brain just goes, am I in forest? Yes. If yes, then strength required dungeon.
hmm hmm Uh, sort of. Light arrows are in one of two places, we're pretty sure. Um, we're fairly certain we know where our hover boots are,
Uh-huh.
but long shot is the biggest question mark.
Yeah, and I feel like Longshot can't be that many locations, right? Because anything after crossing the wasteland can't be Longshot.
Right.
Because the lens is needed for shadow.
hmm
Anything beyond crossing cannot have Longshot because if it is over, and now this is me just talking to chat here, because you obviously are incredibly. Mel is. I will say, if you have any questions about logic, talk to Mel. She is the savant at all things logic. She's
Not correct, but I'll take
very,
it.
very correct. But because crossing the wasteland was hinted for shadow, and because of the way path priority works, only way it can be hinted for shadow is if you have already completed all the things that you needed for the bridge requirement. And then once you have all the items needed for bridge, everything else in this case becomes items for boss key and kind of that second tier. And
Yeah.
so
It's even simpler than the hints.
right?
Because if our hovers are in Ganon's, we need the long shot to cross the quicksand.
Okay, well, I mean, there's that too. Shut up.
We,
I like my logic, thank you. And I was like, well, yeah, no shit. Like, you need a way to cross the wasteland.
you need that big pit that we ignore all the time does have rules to it.
I don't think it does, Mel.
This game has no rules.
As any rando runner will tell you, we don't use hovers or long shot to get across there. We
Logic.
just line up with the pole and backwalk and then side hop at a certain point. That's all you really need.
I think my favorite is hearing logic is a suggestion and then people complaining about a casino that they could have easily avoided.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I would say that's the most true statement in chat here. Walls are the biggest suggestion in this entire
Oh my
game.
god, right? It's like if you stare hard enough, you can look straight through them.
Who is ahead of the logic at the moment? I mean, that's a little
Ooh.
tough. I would say Icola has a slight edge time-wise, because Fair will eventually have to go to Ice, whether it's for Sunsong or Strength 3, and both of those are at the end of that journey. Whereas Icola is going to be able to kind of go over to the Gerudo area and take care of all of that in one swoop.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't know where Longshot is, and that's going to be the biggest. That's going to be the biggest thing. It is probably in GTG, given what we've seen, but it could just as easily be in Fire.
Oh yeah, fire's an option. Oh, yeah. And I think that's gonna... So, I think if it is in fire, I think that's gonna be the biggest test of how well these runners can read the logic. Because
Right.
I think you do GGG, and if it's not in GGG, then you don't cross. I mean, you said FW, or maybe you cross and get Nocturne, but you go straight to. I mean, in Fair's case, they've done basically everything else.
Yeah. I would
And
definitely cross and set FW in Spirit, just because then you can at least get Nocturne for more movability. Because there is a lot of Child still available. There is Field still available.
Yep. Well, what? Well, I guess. Well, Fair's done most of that cleanup. Fair's done Field, and I don't know how much Child Fair's got left.
Oh, did Southfield get done?
Yeah, Fair did.
Oh.
Fair did all of Field on their way. And Lake and Valley with Baron. I
thought it was just Northfield. My bad.
No, Fair did all of them because that's where we found the AD was Requiem hint.
Yep.
And so Fair is done, and I think that's the difference. Fair has done a lot of cleanup in Overworld, and Icola has prioritized a little bit more of the path locations in the dungeons. Icola is also a little bit ahead on Skulls.
Yeah.
And so Fair's got a little bit to make up. Icola, again, benefiting from having that Sun Song earlier and could be a little bit more efficient with the Skull acquisition there.
Another Bombay. Yeah, Spirit is basically dead. You're right.
Yeah. Trying to think of what we could find in... No. Because here's the other thing, right? Like, Ganons can't really have a bait item. What's there left to bait? You have Hammer, you have Strengths, you have Mirror. There's nothing left.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So Ganons can't even have a bait item. So yeah, no, to Chet's credit, Spirit's dead. Spirit's dead, Shadow's dead.
Spirit vaguely on the table. Oh no. No,
because of the inside Ganon's Castle hint. Yeah.
Well, I was thinking if somehow an item is on the arch, but all we're missing is those hovers, so it has to be Nocturne, so. And yes, we have like 8 different variations of the name Cola in the community.
There are a lot of colas.
There are a lot of colas.
There are a lot of colas. Who was the OG cola? Was that just cola?
I assume cola.
I think cola was the OG cola.
And then Icola.
Yep.
And then there's a new Ink, who is listed as Inca Cola.
Oh yeah, Inca Cola. And then Zavi. Didn't they just change to Zacola? Yeah, lots of sodas. Because wasn't it Mr. Mario, Mr. Martin, and Cola who were on a multi-world team called Snackback?
Yes.
Where was M&M and Cola?
Yep, M&M's and Cola.
Yep.
Icola has not done Night Pack Skulls.
I feel like there's a Super Smash Ultimate player who's a Cola. I think they play Steve. Again,
Steve?
totally. Steve, like Minecraft Steve.
Steve?
Who's it? Steve. Who's just the most broken character, and I will stand by that. I don't even play competitively, and I look at Steve's moveset and I go, this ain't fair.
This ain't fair.
So if you're
might be going for the 0 cycle here.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
Shooting a little early, but this is something to... Oh, no! Moved!
Hey, with Big Goron Sword, you're still gonna quick cycle this. And down.
Some spin strats are nice. What's the items next to Prelude of Light? 4 arrow. Oh, that's the Sun Song logo.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a little sun.
Meta now wants to speak about broken. Yeah, you're not wrong. Outside Ganon's castle? No.
GTG.
G.
Yeah, I think Southfield and GTG here.
Yep. Again, I have a feeling that this seed is going to come down to who can read the logic.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think if either runner spends any time in Spirit, they missed something logic-wise, or they missed a hint that could have bailed them out. Because I think we have all deduced at this point collectively, Spirit cannot have any required items.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean, I would expect Fair to go River and Ice after this Forest play. That's unresolved still.
Yeah, Icola is skipping field. I don't think Icola. I keep calling Icola like Ricola.
So I've heard it both ways, but I once read him correct someone in like a chat that it's I. And so I always try to do that, and then I'm like, did I hallucinate that? Maybe it is Icola. I just don't know.
I think you're right. It is Icola. I just I forget, and then I suck, and then I go Icola. Come on, Icola. Well, it's Sun Song, so you're not super worried about time of day.
So worried with that Sun Song, yeah.
Yeah. Well, at first I was like, shoot, if Icola doesn't make it with like Fortress being path, that sucks. And then I was like, nope, Sun Song. Never mind. Take it all back.
So Fair did not do GTG, correct?
Fair did,
W.
Fair peaked GGG, peaked the maze.
Yeah.
And then bounced.
Which makes sense. Didn't have a hook shot, didn't have strength 2.
Oh yeah, totally.
Not a good time to do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very interesting hunt here for long shot, because that's really it. Long shot and skulls. Which I think usually you want to be efficient in your turn-ins, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like usually it's like I want to turn in 30 and 40 at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, I think I would grab Boomerang. Go do Jabu, because there are so many skulls on your way to beating Jabu. I mean, just so many skulls on your way to beating Jabu. Because you've got 4 in Jabu. You've got a 5th after beating Jabu. You can climb up there. You've got a 6th in Fountain by the ZL check, by the Fairy Fountain check. And then depending on how you get to there, you can either grab them in Lake or you can grab them in River. Like, you just got so many skulls that I think you'd be inclined just to go beat Jabu and just collect to 40 versus doing a wicked efficient turn-in and turning in 30 and 40 at the same time. And in fact, I don't think Icola's even done Night Cack, right?
No.
So that's 5 skulls right there, plus Graveyard, if you have Boomerang. So that's 6, 7. So yeah, Icola, more than enough skulls to be able to knock out 40 at this point. All right, looks like probably back into GGG, or do you think Icola continues to push progression and goes across the wasteland?
I mean, I just don't know. To your point, being able to do Jabu, get a progression dungeon done, still needs to figure out the light arrow situation and everything. It makes sense to just kind of cross here. Pick up Nocturne for that movement.
Mm-hmm.
So this is an interesting... So over the years, more and more cutscenes have disappeared. This ground jump that you just saw Icola do used to be the fastest way to do it, but now with the deletion of the cutscene of the gate going up, it's actually faster to jump down. But you still see people kind of do their old ways.
Yeah, and until somebody explains that, you just either you have to figure it out, which is not always the easiest, or somebody has to be like, "Hey, bud, like, remember that trick that we used to all do? Yeah, it's actually slower now." Sorry, we made the game more efficient. We made it a better experience for everyone.
And yes, our seat's going alright. 30 and 40 are required. Ganon's is hinted. We're pretty sure it's hovers in there. We're pretty sure it's Nocturne out here at Colossus, so just kind of looking for that long shot.
Yep. And Icola skipping skulls. And again, close enough to 40 that
Yeah, dropping down is slow.
it's slow, and you've got so many good ones in Child that are still available. I don't disagree with this at all.
Yep. Let's see, where don't we want long shot to be? We don't want long shot to be on... I don't know. Hammer chest?
Fire? I mean, it's either Fire or GGG. We've seen...
Pierre would be the worst place for a long shot because you'd have to go through that loop of getting Scarecrow set.
Oh, we found the new worst place.
You would actually have to. Because everything else, like, I think you'll do child cleanup when you're doing Jabu, so you get to your 30 skulls, you go through Jabu, you're continuing to pick up skulls in that area, drop down and do Frogs 1. We have Serenade at least. You're right. If we didn't have that, it would be worse. But
yeah,
it's still
Serenade
like
now.
The amount of time that it takes, and you're just grumbling the whole time, like this goddamn Scarecrow.
Mother piece of mother.
Wow, it's Nocturne. We did it.
Wow.
There we go. And so like you were saying earlier, this is where it's going to be tough. Because Icola doesn't seem to have that read that Spirit shouldn't be anything.
Yep.
So if Fair does have that kind of understanding, this is going to be a lot of time that Icola is going to have to make up.
This is almost exclusively, unless Mel and I are missing something, which is, again, always possible if there's some other explanation. But from what we understand, this is 100% a time waste. Reason, again, why is that cross the lens was hinted as path to beating Bongo Bongo, which means that anything beyond using the lens to cross the wasteland cannot give you long shot, because long shot is a dungeon required for the Ganon's bridge, light bridge, or whatever the rainbow bridge.
The bridge,
and that is priority before getting the boss key.
Yep. And just because of all of the items that we have, hovers are the only thing remaining for Ganons, as Virgil is pointing out. Lake is hinted dead, so we're not thinking about scales. Rang and Dins are both hinted on skulls directly. Hammer is on 10. Icola hasn't picked that up yet, but you can see Fair has it.
Well, and Goron Tunic was on, what's its face? Dampe, digging. So it can't even be Tunic. We've got all 3 strings. We've got Hammer. Like,
Yep.
yeah, there's literally not a single bait item.
So we're just kind of... Yeah.
Yep.
And Icola's already out of there, so that's good.
Yep.
Gonna do OGC Fairy by the looks of it, and I would expect Sun's Grave. But I would think you do that as child.
Yeah. I think this is... Hot chance this is Light Arrows. With the small chance that this is Long Shot, and Long Shot leads to Light Arrows?
Yeah.
Just possible, because they're on the same tier?
Yeah.
Cool.
So, as far as the strengths, Ice can be strength 1, 2, or 3 today.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, none of the strengths were strength blocked. And it's Suns.
What? Oh, Suns.
Suns.
I was like, what?
Don't worry, we haven't screwed up anything until this is nothing, and then we all have to question our sanity. Wait, what did that say?
Oh. You think I can read that fast? Ox 1 dead. Great.
Oh, nice. Actual great hint.
Actually wonderful. Alright, so this is probably Light Arrows. And if this is Long Shot, even nicer.
Wow, a big chest.
Wow.
It's
Wow.
lights.
Wow.
Wow. Okay, we did it.
We did it.
Oh, true. They don't have a scale, so they have to go upriver anyway. I'm not sure how close Icola is to 30. Gotta be close. It says 24 on his personal tracker.
Follow-up question. Oh,
Yeah.
shoot. It's like, where is he going?
Oh.
I was confused for a second. I was like, wait. And 24 is... No, 24 is not bad. You can get 30 as a child. Because you get the 1 in the graveyard, Soil Patch, 5 in CAC. So,
Yeah.
you can get Jabu pretty fast.
Yep.
And Jabu could have Long Shot. I don't see any reason why not.
Jabu could.
I was like, hold please. Brain needs to process. Was there any reason why Jabu can't have Long Shot?
Nope. No reason.
Great. Amazing.
Alright, back to GTG by the looks of it.
Not a bad play.
I mean, I don't blame anyone for wanting to find their last item. You know?
Mm-hmm. I think I would be inclined to do Jabu.
Mm-hmm.
Just in case Long Shot was Jabu.
Yeah.
The hike is a... Oh, go for it.
The hike?
Oh, I was going to say the hike to Jabu is a biatch.
Yeah.
And if you pull scale, then great, but if you're gonna spend all this time in here to pull skill and nothing else, then you should have just hiked.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just trying to think, like, Jabu is not a lot of items. Can Longshot be in Shadow? No.
No.
Because... Well, that's not entirely true. It could be in the... No, it can't be, because...
No, it can't be.
Yeah, Nocturne was hinted to Bongo, so no.
Yes. Correct.
I was like, it could be in the first two, but it can't.
No. I had to think about that too. I was like, wait. I'm doubting myself this whole time. I'm like, did I read this right? Yes, we have been reading this right.
Yep. Shadow fully behind Longshot. In multiple ways.
Yeah, and also to businesses in Mel's earlier point of you need Longshot to cross the wasteland in the first place. And we know that inside Ganon's castle is path to Shadow Temple. This could be Longshot here.
Scale? Fire?
Double magic.
Double magic!
Because I'm also sitting here thinking, like, what bait items can we still get? I think there's still more bows available.
There are more bows. There are wallets.
Some slingshots that are available.
We think we saw a wallet in
Where?
River.
Oh, is that in River that we saw that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Great. That's why I use a tracker that keeps track of where I saw all my items, because my ADHD brain about an hour and a half in is like, where did I find that item again? And the tracker goes, it was here, you idiot. And I go, oh, okay, thanks.
We found all the slingshots in like 5 minutes, so
We did find all those slingshots really easily.
I think there might be another bomb bag.
We found 2
Yeah.
so far.
Fire arrows.
Yeah, ice arrows.
Yeah. Blue
Okay, so
fire
we-
arrows.
So we still have some bullshit that's available.
Yeah, we have some big chests that are not long shot available.
GGG really not paying out though. Because I think we've seen everything else in GGG. We've seen the maze. Icola just did the loop. So GGG is not the answer. Unless it's right here because I spoke too soon. God damn it.
Unless
Nope, okay, fine.
it's a bottle.
Oh, yeah,
I
forgot
don't think we have a hint for the toilet or this silver rupee room here that Icola is hopping over to.
Nope.
But that is behind doing Jabu anyway, so we're not really going to be worried about it. And Fair at the end of Ice. So we'll have to see what he decides to do here.
So the fun thing about Song of Time is that Song of Time is technically before crossing the wasteland. All the things that you need for Song of Time you can get before crossing the wasteland. So it could be toilet. I didn't count keys, so I don't know. If I was a good commentator, I would be counting keys, but...
No. GTG, if I know I'm counting keys, I'm better about it going in. But you want to know where I never count keys?
Where?
Fire.
Oh, yeah.
Which is the worst place to not count keys.
Fire, I get to 6 keys and I'm like, I did it!
I did it! I
Yeah.
got them!
Did it! Well, it's like, so here's the thing about hovers and Fire Temple. If Volvagia is an item, Fire is not hovers locked. Done. Easy.
Yeah.
Can't be hovers locked. Amazing. If Volvagia has a key, it's conditional, and then that's where I stop caring. Like, that's where I should start caring, but that's where I actually stop caring.
Yeah, fire is tricky. Yeah, fire can be hovers locked if... What is it? Like...
Well, I think you have to have your last 2 keys in your...
highest Goron and
highest
hammer
score
shot.
on... Yeah. Okay, so technically it could still be hovers locked. See, this is why I don't care.
Technically.
Rob Dog, you are more correct than me, and I admit my wrongness. I still don't care about fire keys.
Was Composer Grave? I know it's slow, but was it hinted? Nothing? Is that Zora Tunic? Yeah, blue shirt, blue shirt.
Oh yeah. In Dumpy Digging.
Because that would have been hilarious if, like, Zora Tunic is not required for water. But you have to go to Central Pillar.
Oh, so now I'm getting distracted by Rob Dog's comment of doing bombless fire, and it just made me really sad.
I don't want to do bombless fire.
I don't want to think about that. Like, I get that you are also correct on that. I also get that makes me sad. So so where are we at difference wise? Fur's at 30 skulls. Icola's, so they're both going to be getting their boomerang here in the next 10 seconds.
Yep.
Icola via Nocturne, Fur via Owl. They're both going to be going up and doing Jabu, finishing out their skulls.
Yep.
Icola will have Nocturne. Fur still needs to cross. That. Icola has done GGG, and Fair has not.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would say the toughest thing here is Fair needs to avoid GTG. And if Longshot is not in Jabu here or in the child checks on the way, that's going to be tough. Because that's just a time sink, you know? There's nothing in there.
KFADL, whose name is probably, but there's probably a better pronunciation. I have been compared to a golden retriever many times. So I would be the guy who is the golden retriever in the dog kennel. That would be me.
I'll be back in like a minute and a half.
You got it, Mel. Can you bring me more coffee?
No. Sorry. You live a little too far away from me.
All right, well, bye, Mel. So now, chat, you just have to deal with me, which again, I don't know if that's a good thing. I feel like it's one of those like, I'm not stuck here with you, you're stuck here with me type situations. Because you're stuck here with me, and that's never a good thing. Mel brings balance to the chaos. I just bring chaos to the chaos. Because at this point, all we're doing is watching Icola. all we're doing is watching Icola on their way to Jabu, and Fair grabbing their light arrows right now. And what I'm really interested in is, one, does Jabu have Longshot? Because there's definitely a hot chance that Longshot could be here or in Jabu. And two, do any of these runners ever go to Spirit Temple? Because I think if they can avoid Spirit Temple, they're going to save themselves so much time. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. And until then, you're just going to have to deal with my golden retriever energy for better or for worse. Probably for worse. But yeah, Spirit is full on logically dead. There is nothing that we could ever pull from Spirit based off of the hints that we have found and the items that we are missing. And so I don't disagree with Icola here doing Domain. I think this is a really smart play. It is not the aggressive play, but I think it's the play that keeps you in the game. Because I'd rather, if I was in Icola's shoes, I would be doing these 2 checks and then going into Jabu versus the aggressive play of just going straight to Jabu and your long shot just being here. And you could technically do these after Jabu, but no one does. I certainly don't want to. Yeah, the 2 checks in Spirit, the logic here is quite complex, and I don't know if Icola has gotten all the hints to be able to explain it, but I wouldn't run it past somebody to be like, I'm going to do these checks, and while I'm doing these checks, autopiloting and thinking about the logic and the logical implications, and going, oh, there are better things that I should be doing right now. I have definitely been there where you just kind of autopilot the execution, so that way, yep, never got the Frogs one hint. Or did and forgot, Done that too. But there's certainly something about autopiloting the execution to allow your brain time to actually process what you've been reading. It's very hard when you're playing and trying to understand logic to be able to do both at the same time. And sometimes you just got to turn your brain off, or at least the actions off, so that way your execution can take care of what it needs to, and then your brain can think about the logic. So definitely we've all been there.
Just do things. No
Sometimes
thinking.
you just, well, we were talking about, and Brett brought up of Icola doing the first 2 checks in Spirit, and I'm like, maybe Icola just said brain, hands take care of yourself. Brain is going to think for a little bit. And went, oh yeah, I probably shouldn't be doing this.
Halfway through, you're like, ooh.
Ooh, this was a no bueno idea.
Did either of them do domain checks?
Icola did.
Okay. Whee!
Great jump slash.
Oh, wait.
And again, this is why you basically can come into these skulls when you've got like 30-ish. Because there's 4 in Jabu, there's 2 outside of Jabu, and then you're probably going to be going adult anyway for Din's Fire.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're going to get the 1 outside or in CAC anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're I mean, that's 7 skulls right there. And not inconvenient skulls either.
Mm-hmm.
Fair making the aggressive play. Again, nothing wrong with saying I will do Jabu first, then do Domain second.
Yeah. And it could very well pay out. Long shot being in Jabu would make total sense still.
Oh yeah, it's still very possible.
And then, the crossing having Nocturne is big for Icola. Fair will have to do that, but if he can avoid doing any of GTG, much easier to make up that time. And here's a big chest.
Yeah, I would say that at this stage in the game, depending on what Icola's next move is, I think Icola is further ahead on the seed than Fair is.
I would agree. Mostly because if it's not here and Fire is the play, Fair's not picking Fire over GTG.
No. And then once they get Long Shot, it is a straight line to beating the game.
Yep.
And so it's at that point, it's a no-brainer. I mean, you go and you beat water, you go get your Ganon's access, you go into Ganon's, you get your hovers, you beat Shadow, beat the game.
Yep.
So while this does look close because of how linear this end game is going to be, I think that Icola has quite an advantage.
Yep. Yep, I would agree. But it's never over until it's over. Fair will be going to GTG with Song of Time. And so...
Can't be other wallet. Bow.
And
There
there's
it
our
is.
long shot.
Long
All
shot.
right.
Okay. Well, that is, in a sense, go mode.
Yep.
I would agree with chat. If you are rooting for Fair, I think that that is a rough pull.
Yep.
Because Icola at this point is just going to be clocking it to, beat the game. Straight path.
Yep. Yep.
I'm trying to think of what was the biggest time save, or what was the biggest difference between the two runners.
I think the biggest difference was that decision to do a longer adult segment and going to GTG area without a hook shot, without the second strength. Both of which kind of compiled into that it didn't necessarily make sense to cross at that time to get Nocturne. Fair had to do an extra age change, not having Nocturne. And I think that just added up to enough of what we're seeing here, just a little bit of inefficiency. Because we can see, of course, okay, he's a little behind in Jabu, but really it's going to be that crossing that's going to add up most. And I mean, just generally, Icola is a very fast player. If he gets into a groove of being able to clear dungeons, like we saw, you can do Dodongos, you can do Forest, you can pick up a lot of songs and checks along the way. It ended up being a little cleaner having that bomb bag and hook shot before doing any of that adult stuff.
Yeah, and you certainly got to give Icola credit from an execution perspective. I mean, as you're watching, one of the cleanest runners from an execution perspective, and not to undersell Fair's execution, which has also been wonderful. But there's a reason why Icola is number 4 seeded, and why you look at Icola's points, and out of the 8 recorded races, 4 of them had over 1,000 points. Like, that is 4 races in either top 3 or top 4, which is just totally incredible. As he's getting
This is the worst room in the whole game.
to shit. while I'm talking about how amazing his execution is, I'm just like, wow. No, it's that has nothing to do with Icola's execution. It has everything to do with the fact that room is just ass.
Yep. That room in particular, targeting that Octorok on accident just kills you. The whole momentum that you had going into it, you're like, oh no.
I intentionally go slow in that room. Because I'm like, I do not want to get hit by these Octoroks.
Yep.
They're just so annoying.
Just so rude.
So rude.
That room is coded to be a joke. Yes. Accurate.
Great skull grab there by Icola. Ooh! Slick jump slash straight into the boomerang.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know almost nothing about Master Quest dungeons, but I do know that of all of the Master Quest dungeons that people want to see more, it's Jabu. Because
I feel
there's
like Jabu has the most unique mechanics for a Master Quest.
yeah.
Because I feel like a lot of the other dungeons were like, we just switched
It's
things
like,
around. Look how silly we are.
do you have Song of Time?
Right? And Jabu's like, but what about cows?
What if you needed a slingshot? Oh. Alright, very nice Baronade from Icola. So we'll see how he chooses to wrap up his last few skulls here.
Yeah, I think you
Fair.
change at night and grab these two here. Would be my thought. Grab the two here, or grab the last in adult. Or I'm wrong.
Yeah, Melkan, it does look very close. It's not close, but Fair does need to cross Wasteland to pick up Nocturne. And I wouldn't even be too surprised if he holds off until after he's got the hover boots and can just go straight into Shadow from there. But I would think that you want your furrows to set in Ganon's before you do that.
You're gonna cross Wasteland before you pick up Din's, for sure. Because you'd want to grab Nocturne before then playing Nocturne to get Din's.
Yeah.
Ganon's though. I could see that.
Alright. 40 for Fair.
Trying to think of where Icola is going to get these last two. I mean, if Icola does have to do the Dark Link loop, great skulls there.
Oh yeah, he didn't pick up Song of Time.
Oh, yeah. Yep, Fair's in great shape to get 40.
Fair already picked up 40.
Oh, Fair. Oh, yeah, that was Fair's 40th. You are correct.
Yep.
Because Fair is at 39 at Jabu.
Yep.
Yep.
Alright, Fair, pulling out that Furor's Wind should just exit GTG, cross for Nocturne. Fair, also not grabbing Song of Time.
Fair might grab that when they
Pick up
Nocturne and get skulls. Turn in skulls.
True.
Easy, Bosky.
Alright, not even required. That is a quick water. Oof.
Yep. And that is why the ground jump in Fortress is not worth it, because that cutscene is that fast now.
Yep.
It's insane.
Nice quick grab.
Oh, great quick grab. Yeah, so Fair is about 3 to 4 minutes behind. Icola still has to grab 3 more skulls.
Mm-hmm.
So could lose a minute or two, depending on how convenient or inconvenient those skulls may be.
Mm-hmm.
And then depending on their route in Ganon's castle, this could be a closer race.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is definitely still a close race.
Yes.
I think Icola, with the advantage that he has, it would take some really bad execution, a couple of voids, and in bad spots in Shadow, just because of the speed advantage he has, but it's not done until the done, as we say.
Mm-hmm. Yep, so there's the one skull. So still gonna need 2 more skulls from Icola. So curious to see where they're gonna pick that up. Not a bad skull though from Icola. Beating water and then grabbing that one straight out.
Yeah. Did Cola get the one outside CAC? I don't think so.
Nope, I saw Fair get it, but...
Yeah, I think the one outside CAC and then the adult Knight CAC skull are both options for him.
I think this is a smart play from Fair. You got to turn in 40 anyway. So you might as well play Nocturne at some point. You're going to lose literally no time playing Nocturne and grabbing hovers, because you're going to have to play Nocturne and grab hovers at some point, or dims anyway.
Yep.
And we'll get Song of Time, guaranteeing that he can beat Water Temple.
Yep. And like you said, Fair's not going to lose any time on Icola over this. When he goes to turn in 40, he will also get Song of Time.
Yep. So these are actions that both players have to do. Will ensure that Fair has the correct items in order to full clear water.
Yeah.
Icola going for the money shot here. The area with the highest density. Straight for the chest.
Yeah, scale.
Any keys you saw?
I did not see a key.
Nope. Unfortunate.
Yeah.
I get the gamble. I respect the gamble. Sucks that the gamble didn't pay out.
Yep. Spirit Trial hinted dead, which is actually great because that is the slowest of all the trials.
Yeah, it's like that and then Shadow 2. Shadow Trial, the further one, is just... God, I hate going there. Bottle? Well, they're gonna make us work for it.
Always a bottle. And Fair, gonna plug away at water, probably gonna be real happy to see how quick it is.
There they are.
There's the hovers. Alright, that is go mode for Icola. And we'll get a better look here at the actual time difference between them. When Icola enters Shadow, Fair will have to pick up Boss Key, finish Water, go get those hovers. But Icola also has to do this Song of Time skull turn-in, so...
Well, and still needs skulls. Still has 2 more that he's missing.
Yep.
So... That's a little unfortunate to be at 38 at this point. 39 would be ideal.
Yeah,
because then you could just grab this one nice and easy.
Yep.
Yeah. Thankfully there are some easy ones here. I agree. But there were a few skulls that Icola walked past that could have picked up. So there could have been a more efficient way to knock these out. Certainly not a bad position to be in.
Yeah. Especially with long shot, it does make this a little faster still.
And, respect to these runners, this is a 40 skull, this is a 30 and 40 skull seed, but 40 skull seed for all intents and purposes.
Yeah.
We're 2 hours and 1 minute, and we are just about to start our last dungeon.
Yep.
Having done ice, bottom of the well, And for Icola, GGG.
Yeah.
And half a cannons.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't touch fire or spirit, but basically did everything else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so let's see how Fair decides to route Ganon's. I can't imagine that the temptation of light trial first doesn't, hit you, but
Mm-hmm. And we'll time landing on the platform to see kind of about how far behind Fair is compared to Icola.
Mhm.
That's 232, 233. We'll say 234 because my brain can remember sequential numbers like that. 234.
Din's fire is required for Shadow Temple in these settings. Alright, Fair's gonna go up the tower first, probably do the whole climb.
I think this is probably, especially when you're on Virtual Console and save reset is so fast.
Mm-hmm.
I think beating these enemies, which you know is required, you have to beat these enemies in every seed.
Yep.
So you might as well beat them now. And then if you need to dig the rest of Ganon's castle, then you do that afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when you have Furores. I'm a huge fan of Furores Wind. I think it is just an insanely good quality of life fight.
Yep. Yeah, if this shadow could be particularly nice and give us an actual go mode where you can skip the back couple rooms, that'd be very kind.
A little bit of a troll chest here. Let's see what it is. Bomb bag.
Good.
Yep, and again, the wicked fast reset there.
Mm-hmm. All right, both runners have their Furores wins in Ganon's. Just gonna say that now because we ask that of ourselves a lot. Now, does Fair? Nope. Okay.
Nope.
There's always the slight, chance. What if I just go forest first? But you're never doing that when you have golds.
No. You're never going to the lower check dense location before you go to the higher check dense location.
Yep.
So totally agree with this play. We know it's the wrong play. I don't disagree with it at all. Checking for keys, being like, damn, no keys. Yep, following the exact same route as Icola.
Yep, which makes sense.
Yep.
This is the most efficient route, even if you have to go up the stairs, you gotta do it anyway.
I still really like doing Shadow Trial first. I don't know why. I think Shadow Trial's fun.
Mm-hmm. All the big chests.
Mm-hmm. All the bait.
All the bait. Yep, just looking for the hover boots. They're right here.
Yep, so while Fair did the climb and Icola did not, Fair's about 4 minutes behind Icola, so when you take out the climb, probably Icola's 3 minutes ahead.
Yeah, I would say about that.
I think 3 minutes is about right, so I think you'd be hard-pressed to see a comeback from Fair. Is anything possible? Of course. Am I gonna, discount anything until the game is over? No, of course not. I think Icola is in a very good position to be able to take this one home for round one.
Yeah, I would agree.
And again, we're talking small differences in routing in a small handful of minutes.
Yeah.
Right? Like, we're not talking about these seeds where people win by 20 or 30 minutes. We're talking about a seed where, it's probably going to be about a 3-minute difference between these two runners. And it all just came down to how they routed. They both read the logic well. Each one kind of skipped their own checks in their own right. Icola skipping field, I remember that. Fair skipping GTG. But really, kind of some differences in routing, a little bit of difference in execution is making this 3-minute difference.
Mm-hmm. And
I thought Icola missed that jump. Oh my god.
And Melgon, the Furor's Wind in Ganon's is more valuable than the gamble of skipping the first 2 chests in Shadow. That's typically the only scenario where you're gonna see that happen, is that they have a free Furor's, so...
What a great gamble it is.
When it works out, it's really nice.
And when you have FW, I don't think you actually lose that much time.
Yeah.
You lose the time of the FW and the save quit.
Yep.
I think that's it.
And if it does work out, you gain a lot of time.
You gain a lot of time, yeah.
Yeah, 3 keys and a boss key, so... just a few more. Maybe the seed has blessed us. Oh, fair, no.
I don't know why I suck at that jump slash. Genuinely bad at it.
Fair, showing us some lens strats here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think one of the things that you can recognize and appreciate from experienced runners is consistency.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at both of these runners, and yes, Fair made a mistake there. But, you look at their execution by and large, and they are consistent.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is basically speaks towards how many seeds they've played and how many races they've been in.
Yep.
To be like, I am, 10 minutes away from beating the seed. I'm in go mode and I need to keep my composure. Because if I start throwing now, that's how I lose.
Yep. Yeah, especially, knowing that Longshot, in hindsight, was in Jabu this whole time, and a check that you could have gotten without Boomerang.
Mm-hmm.
You're panicking a little in a 1v1 like this.
Yeah.
Know your opponent well enough that they probably wouldn't have made that call, but they had a Furor's Wind and a Magic pretty early. At any point in time, they might have chosen to go, yep, I'll turn in letter, I'll pick up the skulls along the way, do my domain checks while I'm at it, and then lucked into that hook shot.
How glorious that would be.
Because those are the decisions people can make in a high skull seed.
Yeah. Yeah, or just a 1v1 in general. I mean, at a certain point, especially if you know that your opponent is stronger from an execution perspective, you've got to make a little bit different routing choices than what is traditional or typical. Because you can expect that the runner of the higher execution is probably going to be making the standard routing plays.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that's not always the case. I have seen plenty of very high execution runners do routing decisions where I go, the hell are you going there for?
Right.
But by and large, when you've got high execution, those high execution runners are sticking to pretty standard routing choices because they are just simply the most efficient way to clean out the checks.
Yep. Yeah, and I think that that's the kind of thing that might have driven Fair to go to GTG earlier, of course. Icola didn't have the hint that Fortress was Path, but knowing that it was Path, knowing that a hook shot could have been there because it was to Morpha, that's that's a hard thing to pass up, because the sooner you have a hook shot in a skull seed, the better.
Yeah. Yeah, you want that hook shot and bottle, especially in like 40 and 50 skull seeds, are just early. Those two items early plus Sun Song. Ooh, it's a dream.
Yep, and those are the kinds of things that add up to that, 3.5-ish minute difference that we were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
It gave Icola the chance to do all of GTG. It just the conditions of each seed can be so varied, but there are some truths that the earlier you get a hook shot, the earlier you get a bottle, the more efficiently you can route that seed.
Mm-hmm. And I would add explosives to that list as well. The earlier that you get explosives, the better you can route a seed, because there in every location there is at least one explosive block check. And I'm not every location. I'm being a little bit, exaggeratory there, but like in most locations, especially overworld locations, like there's at least one bomb lock check that if you have to come back for later on, that's just time that you've wasted that others may have done in one go. And I think that's, for me, why I really like, for example, the early river play. Because if you pull a bomb bag or bomb chews out of there, God, your whole next stage of your routing is just so clean.
Yep.
You've got clean, you can do that extra check in CAC, you can do some checks in field, you can do some checks in Lost Woods, you can go and do Death Mountain Trail. Like, explosives is just having early explosives, as well as some of these other, core items like hook shots and things that you were talking about, just totally make or break your ability to route a seed efficiently.
Yep. And I mean, we've seen that in other matches too, where it's like, sometimes you can know a race is over in 10, 15, 20 minutes just because of the way an item has been found by one player. If that hookshot had been on Frogs 1 and one of them had decided to do that as soon as they could, that it would be a totally different game that we would have watched.
Mm-hmm. As we are getting in here into our final boss, Bongo Bongo, Icola is going to be taking that warp back into Ganon's castle. Fair falling just slightly behind. Let's take a final moment to thank the people who made this possible. Baseball, I will say, Baseball and Lady Draco have been pulling some work recently on restreams and tracking. I don't know if you've seen, Mel, just how many of the different races they have been on.
Oh, it's phenomenal.
Yeah, like these restreams would not happen without these two individuals, with Baseball and Lady Draco. So, huge shout outs to the two of them. Again, the fact that we have gotten so many restreamed races in this round one is in huge part to those two. Mel, who also has been doing comms and tracking and just generally being a badass, also would not have many of the races without her either. So, huge team here that has been making this happen, and I'm just here too.
Heap shows up when I'm like, come hang out with me for a few hours.
It's literally how it goes. Mel's just like, hey, so you want to join me
on
for a race? Free on Sunday? And I'm like, I think I am. She's like, great. You haven't done a comms in like 6 months. And I'm like, oh shit.
I never tell him how long it's been.
Yeah, but she thinks it.
Just think it. I judge silently.
And of course, our runners here, Icola and Fair, who have been so awesome this whole race.
Yep. As we are getting down here, it looks pretty certain that Icola is going to be taking the W here. Fair gonna be down but not out. This is a double elimination bracket, so he will move down to the lower bracket and have another chance.
Oh, yeah,
thanks,
baseball. I was literally just about to go type bracket.
Bracket.
Yep.
And of course, thank you, Heaps, for showing up for comms today.
Of course.
Always a joy.
I did have to, I forgot to tell my partner that I was doing comms. And he called. And I had to be like, sorry, babe. I'm busy right now.
Yeah. I'm busy.
I'm busy. Dating somebody who does not play video games, while he is incredibly supportive, just doesn't understand. And it's
what
great.
you're doing.
Like, I'm sorry, babe. I gotta disappear for 2 to 4 hours to play a video game that came out in '98.
See, I like not having to explain that. I'm just like, don't message me.
Yeah. Yeah. So sometimes trying to explain rando to people who don't understand rando is always a sheer joy of being like, oh, I like to play video games. Oh, what video games? Oh, they're asking questions.
Oh,
Zelda.
what have you done?
I love Zelda. Which one? Oh, God. Ocarina of Time. Oh, that's a fun one. Didn't that game come out a long time ago? Yep. Uh-huh. Oh, is this your first time playing it? Nope. Again, sometimes they just keep asking questions and you're just like, can you not?
You're like, we're about to enter scary answer territory. How much information do you really want?
I would love to count up the amount of seats that I have played because it's not a small number.
I would say the funniest thing, do you explain this to your parents what you do? Because, like, peers who are of a similar age, who grew up playing video games, at least there's a vague understanding. My parents, when I was like, I like to watch other people play video games.
Oh, I'm sure their mind just melted, like,
It took a few months, and then finally my dad was like, is it like when I sit around and watch golf? And I'm like, it is exactly like when you sit around and watch golf.
Good comparison.
It's exactly that.
I still remember the first time Mel and I met up in person. Mel's family thought that I was gonna murder her.
Oh, yeah. They tried to tell me I couldn't go. Like, I'm a 30-something-year-old person. I'm gonna go.
And then they found out I was a doctor, and they're like, so when are you marrying him?
Yeah. We're like, oh, no.
No. Straight up, real conversations that really happened.
Yep. And as Chad is pointing out, Icola is on the second phase of Ganon. Fair only has Iron Knuckles, Dorf, and Ganon to do, so has maintained that kind of 3.5 minute difference here. Mel marrying a murderer. Gosh, I hope not.
Oh. But we are in it here. The GG's at 220 on a 40 skull seed. Good God.
That's impressive.
These are damn good runners. And again, Fair is not far behind.
Yep.
Fair is probably 3 minutes behind at this point.
Yeah, about that. Yeah, 2:20:34. I'm guessing that Fair finishes this seed out since he is so close.
Oh, I would for sure.
Yep. We did get word, since both runners can go do their French and Portuguese interviews respectively, they will not be joining us, unfortunately. So if you have any questions about the seed that you want Heaps and I to answer, we can certainly do that. Otherwise, we'll watch Fair finish out, I assume, since there's only a couple minutes as we do our outro.
But Mel, I love doing comp with you. So
we only got a little off track.
And it was mostly at the end. We were actually pretty well behaved, all things considered. We have been far worse. But always a delight doing comms with you. And of course, trackers, as we've mentioned, baseball, Lady Draco, Restreamer, baseball. Thank you so very much, y'all.
Come join us. I did the volunteer thing not too long ago, but we can always use more volunteers if you have enjoyed all of the coverage this weekend. We can't do it without more hands. So you're going to be watching anyway. Tracking is fun. If you want to, sit and gab for a couple hours with a friend,
Yeah.
calming is fun.
And drinking not alcohol because I'm doing Dry January, which was a terrible mistake.
That's a bad idea.
I don't know what I was thinking.
I told myself once a week Dry January.
We're going until St. Patty's Day.
No. Absolutely not.
I had zero proof wine. And it tasted like battery acid. It was so bad.
That's rough.
Oh.
All right. Baseball, do you want to pop in here while Fair finishes this last phase?
I would love to.
Baseball?
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, baseball.
Hi. Great comms, as usual, from you two.
At what point did it no longer become great comms, though? I mean, that's the real question.
It was great the whole time. I loved the battery acid. That was good. Yeah. Wow, look at Fair go. Fighting Ganon. GG's to Fair. That's gonna do it for this race today. Thank you everyone for watching. You're all great. And of course, thank you to the other people who restreamed, Randomizer Brazil and Marco. If you do want to watch the restreams, they're in Portuguese and French. They're probably interviewing the runners. So you can listen to that if you want. Oh, hi. Fair's in chat. Hi.
Oh, hi, Fair. GG's.
Hi. GG's.
Fair. You played amazing this season.
Yep. Great job.
You should be proud of your work.
Yes. Thank you, Fair, for letting us restream this. Fun match. Okay. Tomorrow, I think there's another race. Sanzo versus Seisei, 2 p.m. Eastern. Looks like we're still looking for one more commentator, but if we find that, I'm sure that we will put it on for y'all. So that's going to do it for today. We're going to head over to ZSR2, where they're playing some Skyward Sword Randomizer.
Woo!
Yeah, there's a tournament coming up for that. So enjoy. See y'all tomorrow. Bye.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.